Are you alright?
No, I have to get out. I can't breathe.
Don't worry, come with me. Breathe in it. Don't worry, you will be fine.
Anxiety is a response to a perceived threat. When threatened, most of us would like to run away from the situation. But all one needs is to get through the phase, and gradually anxiety will pass. How we do that? We will take a look at the management strategies in a while. So, watch the video till the end. We are at Manasthali, where mind meets matter. Anxiety is associated with a number of unpleasant physical and psychological symptoms. For those who are suffering, it's very difficult to ignore them. While those who are observing either themselves get anxious because it's a very contagious situation and they don't know what's happening, and it itself provokes a stress response. On the other hand, some observers may become agitated or excited themselves. This further escalates the situation. Therefore, it's important to understand first that anxiety is a stress response, and anything that increases stress will further increase it. So what is needed is to calm down. If you are suffering from symptoms suggestive of anxiety, the first thing that is needed is to properly get it diagnosed. This means that one needs to visit a qualified doctor or a psychiatrist. Diagnosis is based on a series of questions, and one may require certain physical investigations to rule out any underlying physical causes like thyroid disturbances, arrhythmias of the heart, or bronchospasm for breathlessness. An experienced clinician can easily rule out these conditions, but the problem is that most of us want our own proofs. More often than not, anxious people feel insecure about the diagnosis itself and would use the internet or get self-tested again and again. You can see it in the story.
Your test reports are fine. You probably have anxiety.
How can you say that? I have to go 10 times to the toilet. I feel so weak. It's my stomach troubling me. Just because you can't diagnose a problem, you are calling me psycho?
My colleagues have shared similar scenarios, and this in itself is an indication why sometimes it takes years before an anxiety-ridden patient finds proper treatment. So management of anxiety disorder requires proper diagnosis, acceptance of diagnosis, and treatment of the root cause. In most cases, once anxiety is treated, physical symptoms abate themselves because they are basically occurring due to the physical effect of anxiety itself. So what are the treatment options? Medicine, psychotherapy, behavioral interventions like relaxation, and lifestyle modifications. You're right there. Most interventions of management of anxiety disorders are similar to management of depression itself. You can check that out in our episode on depressive disorders. I will mention some specific treatment modalities here. Many of the psychotherapeutic modalities have been discussed in previous episodes, so I would not be repeating them. But few modalities which are very specific to anxiety disorders are exposure-based modalities. The principle is that if one is exposed to the situation that causes anxiety and one is taught to deal with the symptoms of anxiety while being in those situations, the situation stops being a trigger. That means that the anxiety associated with the situation, it abates. Systematic desensitization. It's a behavioral treatment specifically useful for phobias, and when used in conjunction with anti-anxiety drugs, it is quite effective. All those who have avoided needles, sight of blood, spiders throughout their life can be helped with this treatment option. The underlying principles of treatment is that if one is given tools to manage discomfort associated with anxiety, one may be desensitized to the triggers. In fact, this is the principle of life itself. If we face the challenge, we can overcome it. The problem with facing the challenge is that we are not equipped for it. If a person who is hyperventilating in a lift is asked to continue, his distress will increase, and the physical effect of hyperventilation will make it far more problematic and will induce more anxiety. Therefore, teaching the person to breathe in a paper bag or to slow down the breathing rate, or take deep breaths and slow breaths is important before we put him in a lift. This process of learning to deal with the triggers or symptoms is the key to managing here, and therefore I urge individuals to seek right intervention. Next important component of management of anxiety is lifestyle intervention. Now, anxiety is closely related to stresses in life, and some of these stresses are self-created. Some of these are constant need to be part of every cool thing in the world, be it social media, luxury items, fashion, popular events, recreational drugs, alcohol, power status at work or in relationships. Others tend to be more idealistic and rigid. Then there is the element of high ambition, high expectations from self. All these factors, which in small doses improve quality of life, become toxic in larger amounts. So, the intervention is also aimed at managing these aspects of lifestyle and behavior. What are these aspects? 1. Regular physical activity. Physical activity, as we have mentioned earlier, improves the level of endorphins, makes us more active and alert, thereby reducing the stress. Second, taking time to relax and be with oneself. We don't need to be always surrounded by people, whether in the real world or in the virtual world. We need to be by ourselves. Third, avoid keeping up with everything that is happening in everyone else's life across the globe. It just starts happening to us all at the same time. Fourth, being in the moment or being mindful. The mindfulness techniques are aimed at reducing the stress, thereby reducing the vulnerability to anxiety. Fifth, gratitude practice. The more we look at things that we can be grateful for, the more our stress will be less. I know this is a little okay, but we can go with it. Sixth, tolerance to life's minor challenges. Now, this is an important thing because we are growing up in an environment where tolerance is rapidly going down. Be it a pothole on the road or somebody driving too fast or too slow, we get upset and we start becoming more and more agitated. That leads to anxiety. Regular sleep-wake routine, very important and very hard to find. Anybody and everybody I talk to nowadays and ask them what is their sleep-wake routine, sleeping at 4 a.m., waking up at 12. That is against the natural law. Our hormonal system, our circadian rhythm is not tuned to a sleep-wake routine which sleeps in the morning and wakes up in the night. So we have to have a regular sleep-wake routine. Discipline, which encompasses all of this and makes it easier for us to get through life. Healthy diet. Diet is an important part, and in Ayurveda, diet is supposed to be medicine itself. What we are consuming is definitely affecting us, not just physically, but even psychologically. Last but not the least, positivity, because positive attitude is the remedy to all things negative. Obviously, none of these interventions work when one is acutely anxious. But it's important to understand that medicines alone won't cure unless a balance is restored in life. These measures are to restore that balance. Next in management are questions of treatment duration, side effects, and reoccurrence. These are similar to the ones tackled in the episode on treatment of depressive disorders, and I would urge you to check that out once again. All said and done, anxiety disorders are the most common psychiatric disorders today. The incidence is rising rapidly due to high levels of stress and imbalance in lifestyle. Children and adolescents are highly prone to anxiety disorders due to the fast-paced life, which is not letting them learn to tolerate, adapt, and manage stress better. The physical symptoms associated with anxiety improve as anxiety is treated. Focus on long-term treatment is addressing the underlying anxiety and not just the physical symptoms of palpitation, breathlessness, or dizziness, etc. Anxiety can be quite contagious, so caregivers need to address their own anxiety to help an anxious person, be it a child or an adult. There is a lot more to anxiety, fear, and its effect on our mood and day-to-day behavior. I leave you to ponder on those questions and ask me if there is any doubt in the comments below. For more information on these disorders, please subscribe to our channel. Again, this is Dr. Jyoti Kapoor. from Manasthali, where mind meets matter. See you again.